fellas, it's your boy Jaytradezz back at it again with another video. Today's video is just going to be a simple analysis of what I'm looking and thinking. As I'm looking at the charts, I will have the 1 minute up and the 5 minute up chart. I have these in replay mode so I can just go ahead and walk through. I just want to show this brief example. I have them here, so because the 5 minute is a little bit more advanced than the one, I'll just be placing an arrow for me to indicate where exactly I am on the 5 minute. Just so you guys won't be confused as to why I'm using arrows or something. So the reason why I'm starting here is because I have this impulsive move, plot it from the top to the bottom, get the retracement, hit the target up here, right? You're looking for the retracement to the golden ratio. Bam. We got that. So this is going to be my starting point. So this would be my high here. I'm just going to mark this. I guess I could just, here we go, right? So now that we have that here, now that we hit the 1.272, let me just go ahead and place that back on here. I'm going to look for a retracement, right? Because this is already hit the target. So I'm not going to expect for this to keep on running right away, but for rather a target to provide some sort of resistance as well. So let me go ahead and just play through. Here you are seeing price action begin to start fighting the EMAs rather than holding them as support. Bam, right? You get them. You get the price action begins to go ahead and play as a retracement. Now you're seeing it that the EMAs are being flipped. But what I've also noticed through my back testing, and I've shared this also in the Discord, is that I've been using the 5 minute and the 1 minute a lot to be able to tell where if it's going to be like a pullback or if it's continuation. So I use the 5 minute to gauge what the 1 minute price action will possibly do, right? So here I'm looking at, yes, you can say that this is change of character to the downside on the 1 minute, but the 5 minute is showing price action extended from the EMAs, and the EMAs they have a gap. So it's not the best idea to look for a reversal when EMAs have a gap, right? Because then you would need for the EMAs to actually flip. So for this to actually reverse, you would have to like somewhat like that for them to flip, right? So because they have a gap, it's not likely that it's going to flip right away because there's no way that this can reach up there. So I use that as a tail for me to be able to be like, okay, hey, is this just a pullback? Is this change of character actually valid? Or if it's not valid, right? Or if it's just an actual pullback. And here I can see that this is change of character, yes. But I can just say that this is a pullback right to the 9 EMA, right? So I'm going to look for that. So I'm going to go ahead and follow. You can definitely follow structure to the downside, but I'm going to keep looking for this as a continuation to the upside rather than actually playing the downside move. I'm going to go ahead and keep on playing this here. So it's like, hey, what's a good way to be able to tell, right? What's happening here? I just want for you guys to keep this in mind in regards to how a symmetrical triangle structure does play out, which is, I'm just using this as an example. I like to call it the funnel structure. So it'll have structure like this, which is just considered congestion, but it has lower highs, and higher lows, And you'll be able to tell which way it's choosing a direction by either if it breaks up here, right? Or if it chooses the downside direction, right? If it breaks, it has to break one of these 2 points here. Just to keep that in mind, right? So here now you have what you can consider a higher time frame pullback, right? This is just a retracement. It's not necessarily a continuation to change the full character to the downside. And I'm just basically noticing that through the EMAs. So now let me go ahead and replay this up here. See what price action on the 5 minute is doing, which is being held, right? It's just a pullback. I'm not looking for it to fail all the way down here. And here you can tell that this could be a potential break. Let me remove these here. and remove this fib as well. So now here you can begin to look as an actual continuation to the upside, right? So here now, for me to be able to take a nice position here, I will need change of character. I look for the break, change of character, come back down here. So for this, I will need for this to come up here, then retrace within this area to then create a higher low to then continue upside, right? So with that, what am I going to do? I'm gonna just go ahead and play this just so we can see what's happening. Okay, perfect, right? We got the break. So now I'm going to look for a pullback within this area to hold. So I would like to have a higher low within this area for me to continue upside structure. Let me just go ahead and play where this 5 minute is. Okay, this is still holding the 9 here. Okay. Here we can actually also pull a fib. So we can go ahead and begin to look for a higher low, right? This fib area here is just giving you a sense of where you can have a potential healthy pullback for you to take a position, right? Oh, so here you actually see price action actually dipped down here, um, but it actually tweezes. So here you would have this marked as a higher low, right? Yes, it didn't necessarily hold the golden fib ratio, but it did come right back up into this area. This would just be considered a liquidity sweep, right? So now that you have that here, you can see that this is congestion. So what do I look for when I have a congestion? I look for a impulsive move right out of this congestion phase. So here you can begin to already look as a symmetrical triangle. And I just want you guys to keep in mind in regards to the structure of the symmetrical triangle. And you can clearly see it here. You see this funnel structure within this area here. So you have this area, this pivot here, this pivot here. So now for this to choose a direction, I would like for it to break either this pivot or this pivot for me to be able to say, okay, hey, what's a good area of interest for this, right? So let me just plot this so I can. Oh, and you see a nice hammer shows up right on the 5 minute here. So this 5 minutes already showing up a nice hammer. And this is something that I've talked about in chat in regards how I plot fibs on different time frames. So this time frame, this is a 5 minute time frame, and this is how I would be essentially plotting a fib on the time frame. You have the impulsive move, and look where it's necessarily began to holding. It didn't come all the way back down, right? But it does give you a general sense of area for you to begin to go ahead and look for potential support for you to be able to look for a higher low to continue to the upside, right? So now that we have that established here, we have this nice arrow here. So now what we're looking for, we have this symmetrical triangle here, which is already a pattern to be looking for as a getting ready for that impulsive move, right? So now we also keep in mind it's above VWAP and 200. And so like I stated, this is not necessarily a complete change of character to the downside, rather just a pullback to the EMAs. Let's continue fast forward. Okay, see, now here you're beginning to look for the direction. I did post this in chat. I do recall this live. I posted it right around this area here, but I didn't necessarily know that it was still going to break out to the upside here. I had just posted it just to keep an eye out. What does it do? Okay, perfect, right? You have that break, so now it shows a direction, right? So now what you're looking for is the retracement within this area. So before you were looking for a higher low within this area here, right? And you got it. So, and then it broke to the upside. So that's already change of character within this symmetrical triangle. Yes, you can consider this as congestion, but it's already choosing a side. This is a faster way to be able to tell what side it's actually choosing, you know? So let's go ahead and continue. We're looking for a higher low within this area here. And hey, what's a nice way to tell where a pullback might happen, you know? Wow, it's the fibs, right? Pull the fibs, you got the break, the impulsive move. Now you're looking for a healthy retracement to continue to the upside, right? Okay, now let's go ahead and look at price action, what it does. Let me just advance here. Oh, sorry. Okay, we see what it does here. It pulled right here, but it's still within this area, right? But we're keeping an eye on this 1 minute time frame here. So now we're looking for a higher low within this area here. And we have this general idea to get that generalized area at, which is here. Oh, so now that we have this point here, like I'm stating, I'm doing this this live here. So now I would just adjust it to this up here and still have this general area down here. It's within this fib area here. I was just waiting for I didn't realize that this would be the top impulse rather than this candle here, but it's around the same area here. And you see 9 EMA is above the 20 here with a nice space. So that's already giving me indication of upside, right? So now we're gonna allow this to play. Oh, this was a prime entry, and I do recall I posted this live as well. You see a nice hammer within the golden fib ratio. This is just a retest of this breakout. So now that you have this here, you can begin to look for a nice extension to the upside, right? You can have this as a risk down here. However, you would like to use your risk with EMAs, with supply and demand, with Fibonacci. There's multiple ways for you to be able to go ahead and find risk within the play. But here I tend to go ahead and look for the 20 EMA as my personal risk. Um, and here you can clearly see that it's began to hold this area, right? So let's go ahead and keep on playing it. Another hammer. So here you already have conscious that you're looking for a higher low within this area. And it turns out to be right where the fib is. So now here you can already begin to take position within this area here, to be able to go ahead and capitalize the continuation of this actual play, right? So now the target would be the 1.272. And you see here, it's just another flag continuation. Right after the break, you will get that pullback, which will create a flag to continue to the upside. And you see the wicks are telling you that, hey, buyers are here. There's no sellers. There's no upper wicks here. There's just these lower wicks here. Holding the ratio, holding the retest. Let's see what happens, right? You get that, bam. You capitalize. You're already in the play here. You're just waiting for the move. You don't necessarily have to get in right before the actual move happens, but getting the best risk to reward entry, you can't beat that, right? Like that's why I'm big on retest because of this. I get the best reward to my risk, right? Look, what I'm basically risking is nothing compared to the reward. Let me go ahead and just advance this on the 5 minute. Bam, right? Price action was giving me nice bullish candles here, no bearish candles necessarily. Yes, you can say that this could be a double top, but if you're looking at it as in regards to an actual break, then using fibs, this is letting you know that hey, upside is continuing. While also looking at this as the EMAs on the 5 minute, you're noticing price action isn't breaking below, which is actually rather holding the EMAs to the upside. Which here we see hit the target, the 1.272. And that's what you're looking for, right? You're not looking for these high numbers up here. Yes, it can hit, but you're not necessarily looking for all of that. But here you're seeing that price action is still heavy bullish here. This candle alone here has a lot of volume. So, hey, okay, you can still look for continuation here, right? So now here you're looking for a retracement, a pullback. And if you want, you can even plot another pair of fibs, right? Let me go ahead and pull that here from this impulsive move. See how it comes right back down here? It doesn't necessarily hit it right away, but it does give you a generalized area of, hey, here you can probably get that healthy retracement to this area, so then continue this upside movement, right? And bam, that's exactly what it begins to do. And then here another play happens, right? But in regards to this is exactly how my plays are happening. I like to get the juice of this area here, for me to be able to go ahead and get the full juice. You know, yes, it's nice to get this, but if you're prepared and you're in here, bam, the sky's the limit. So here, this is one play of how I would use fibs in confluence with market structure. And just keep in mind that was just a recorded in regards to actual price action, for today, which is the 26th of May.